Yes.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. Send. Okay, so kind of like Morgan did, I'll introduce myself first. My name is Jacquelyn Vela. I am a senior here at Western Illinois. I am a agriculture major with an emphasis in animal science and a zoology minor. So I kind of took this class because I'm actually pursuing further education at University of Illinois to become a veterinarian. And so I kind of did my topic based on what I'm kind of learning for the future for vet school. So something that's like kind of interesting when I was looking into this research is in 2018, there was about 7.5 million cats just in Italy alone. And for those of you that don't know, most cats are kept indoors rather than outdoors. And when cats are kept indoor, they become excessively bored and stressed just from not being able to explore more and just being kept in the same environment. So with this, scientists realized that there is an herb, which is Nepeta cataria, that can help suppress these emotions temporarily, which comes to my topic, the effects of Nepeta cataria on felines. So some information about this. Most of you know Nepeta cataria as catnip, also known as catwort or catmint. This is a species of genus Nepeta and from the family Lamicae. It's a very important medical herb that belongs to the mint family, and its location is in southern and eastern Europe, the Middle East, Central Asia, and parts of China. And for this plant, it's very nice because we can't see it, but if you were to put it under a microscope, there's these little tiny bulbs that contain a chemical called nepta-lactotone, which is what I'm going to get more into the next slide because that's kind of the chemical of which affects mammals. This is mainly known for treating pain and anxiety, and the flowering tops on the plant that you can see in this picture over here, the little purple flowers, that's been used as a sedative drug. And some fun history information that I found is we realized this was a sedative drug because around 400 years ago, humans actually were using catnip. They used it in the 1600s. Europeans brewed it with tea. They made juices out of it. They even smoked and chewed it, which is how we found out it had a mild sedative effect. So like I said before, this plant is covered in these little tiny microscopic balls called nepta-lactocone, which is what draws felines to plants because they're able to smell that. This chemical, when it is ruptured, gets released, and it's why most catnip is infused in cat toys actually, because cats are able to push on that and release all of the chemicals out. When this is inhaled, it binds to the receptor in the nose, which stimulates neurons that can lead to their brain altering several key areas in the hypothalamus. And for those of you who don't know, the hypothalamus is the part of the brain that controls emotion. Most cats are affected by this, not all cats though. About 70% of cats, 7 out of 10 cats, will actually be kind of go under its spell, as some say, while others, it just has zero effect on them. And if the cat is infected, some say they almost seem as if they're intoxicated. But some benefits to catnip is that not only does it encourage play and movement, it keeps them active, it stimulates their cognitive, and it just kind of releases their stress and anxiety or even some aggression that they might have. It's not toxic at all to cats. It's not even addictive. Some people think it might be addictive. And another fun thing is, like humans, not only does it affect cats and humans, but it can affect other mammals such as mice and mosquitoes. Oh, did my frame squeeze there? Oh, nope. Give me just a moment. Okay, so catnip gets kind of categorized with cannabis a lot. A lot of people say catnip is like cannabis to humans, but this is actually pretty false. So between humans and catnip, one thing, or humans and cats, a major difference between the two, besides our brains, is our olfactory systems, which is what we use to smell. It's all within the nose. It's structured pretty differently. So if a human was able to inhale cannabis, you notice that most humans will have a different response to it. Whereas in catnip, when cats, if they are effective, the key difference is that most actually respond pretty much the same, and it's very predictable, and they have a constant response to catnip. Some think this might be a genetic trait that's in cats that get passed down, which makes sense because research has shown that even in wild feline breeds, such as lions and tigers, they actually act the same if catnip was given to them. So I looked into some research projects since I couldn't do this research myself since I didn't know enough cats. And I ended up looking at this specific research, even though there was only 20 cats tested. I know that's a little bit of a low number. The one thing I liked about this research is not only did it have male and female cats, because other research projects that I saw kind of just focused on either male or female, and then there's a question of, well, maybe it reacts differently to the sex. So I liked this one because it involved both. But another thing that I really liked is the ages. In this research, it had a cat as young as 3 months to as old as 13 years. And there's also a bunch of different breeds to see if it was true that most of them act the same, no matter male, female, young, old, different types of breeds. So in this research, it was divided into two groups. One had a phleptic diffuser plugged into a household. This was called our therapy group. And then there was the second group, the control group. This was where the diffuser contained a placebo. And in all of this, we had the Wilcoxon test, which was used to identify different signs shown by an animal before and after treatment. For those of you that don't know, the Wilcoxon test is a non-paramedic statistical test that compares two different groups. And one nice thing that I liked about this was that the study was actually blinded for the owners. So researchers went up to them and said, hey, we'd like to do some tests on your cats, but we really can't say what it is. We're just going to diffuse something and you tell us if they act different or not. And then the owners obviously had to answer questions before doing the research and then after the research was done. I couldn't find any information on what the questions were asked, but all of them went into the research and results at the end. So some of the results that were found within this research project is there was 90% of the cats in the therapy group that showed an improvement, while 40% of the cats in the control group showed an overall improvement. For the therapy group, 40% of the cats showed a moderate improvement and 40% of a light improvement, while 40% of the cats belonged to the control group had improvement with light. Now, the number of cats hiding, since that's common in cats and you're trying to get them to be more relaxed due to strangers in the therapy group, was 60%, while 50% in the control group. There was other results that were pretty good, in my opinion, with cats going to the vet. Since usually that's a really stressful environment, they had them have catnip right before they went to the vet. And for the therapy group, it was from 60% and increased to 80%. That's how well they did, while actually the control group dropped down. Cats with inappropriate urine elimination, that was decreased in the therapy group from 40% to 30%, while there wasn't a change at all in the control group. And as you can see, everything that I'm kind of explaining is put in this little chart over in the upper right-hand corner. Some other results that they were testing out was cats scratching at the door and hissing or biting at other cats. Cats showing hissing or biting attempts toward other cats decreased significantly in the therapy group from 80% to 50%, while in the control group, it went from 60 to 40. Cats showed fearful behavior decreased for the therapy group, going from 80% to 60%, and there was no changes in the control group. The percentage of cats showing hissing or biting attempts towards people decreased from the therapy group, going from 70 to 50, while the control group actually increased, going from 30 to 40. And as for the percentage of cats showing like teeth aggression manner in the control group, that kind of stayed constant as well. But in the post-treatment, the percentage went up. So that was something that they were a little confused about, and they were going to try to retest to see what was going on there. But as you can see, overall in all the results, most of the fear, aggression, stress, any anxiety, it tended to go down in the treatment group, while the control group kind of stayed constant, if not went down a little bit, possibly due to some changes they had since there was a control group. Everyone wanted to be in the same environment. But overall, it showed that catnip was actually working fairly well for cats in a positive way. So to conclude with the results of that experiment, even though not all parameters showed statistical changes over time, there was a general tendency of decrease in behaviors associated with stress and compatible with aggression and or anxiety, showed by household cats after administrating using the Flipsips diffuser, which was that therapy group, and that neptocatardia may be used as a useful functional ingredient for alternating stress in cats, which was good to know for anyone that owns a cat, for veterinarians that, want to tell someone that has an anxious cat, hey, try using catnip. That can help decrease their stress and anxiety. And here are my citations.
Well, that's cool. Do you think it would help you, like if you got a feral cat and, like I have a cat that we're trying to rehabilitate that's kind of a little bit, it's more shy of me because I actually am the one that caught it than my children. Do you think if I go home with some catnip, that would actually help them to calm down around me a little bit?
Probably, just because most research that I looked at, I specifically just talked about this one, but a lot of the research that I looked at, the catnip, even with people who got feral cats, if they used it on them every single day and gave them a little bit, they saw that their stress and aggression was slowly lowering down. Now, hopefully your cat accepts it because, like I said, only 7 out of 10 cats will accept catnip. So if he does accept it, I can see the aggression and possibly shyness going down.
I got a question here.
1 minute, Lindsay, I'm not done yet.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to ask, what does accepting mean again?
So I guess you could say accepting, maybe that's not the right word, but maybe take the drug. So if you introduced it to 10 cats, they're saying 7 out of those 10 cats will be affected by it, while the other 3 just have no effect to it at all.
So can you just get over-the-counter catnip? I mean,
you can get catnip at the pet store.
And just sprinkle it on wherever they're at, right?
You could just sprinkle it bare on the ground. They have a bunch of cat toys with catnip on it, because if you notice when they play with the catnip, they kind of push their body all over it, scratch it around, because they're breaking those little, like I said, those little tiny microscopic bulbs to release the chemicals, which is what's making them.
But when I gave some catnip once to a cat, I was shocked by how strong the behavioral change happened.
Yeah, it's immediate. Immediately they're just playful or very relaxed, or maybe they were going crazy with the toy. If they're having any stress or anxiety, it kind of just goes out the door right away. Mm-hmm. So okay. You'll know if your cat is affected by catnip or not within the first few minutes.
Well, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask real quick. So you said it works immediately. Do you know the half-life on it? How long it lasts in the system?
I guess it kind of depends on the cat at that point and how much catnip you give them. Like we said, it wasn't addictive or toxic, so you can't overdose on catnip or anything. I think it just depends on the amount, and I can't really answer that question too much.
Because I would say, if you're going to take him to the vet, you want to dose it, right? So it's just going to be long enough for the vet and then come back and that's fine. That's why I asked.
Yeah, if you were to take it to the vet, I would definitely just say maybe throw some catnip in their carrier, because then it's in there during the duration of the car ride and they're still somewhat under the effect of it while they're at the clinic. I know at my clinic, we do have a patient that actually comes in with catnip in her cage, and she's really relaxed and not stressed at all during her exam. So that's kind of another reason why I looked further in this topic, because I remember that, and then we were just kind of talking about it at my clinic. So that's why I looked more into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other?
So first of all, great presentation. I had no idea catnip had that much of an effect on cats, with anti-anxiety and stuff. But you had mentioned that it affects mosquitoes as well. Do you know how it affects mosquitoes?
I think I was reading a paper kind of on it. I could probably email it to you. I think they said you mixed it in with water and sprayed it on you, and it was almost like a repellent or something like that, if I remember right.
All right, thanks. I'd like to
I
read
did
that.
research papers, and I just like noticed like there was some like with mosquitoes, with mice, and just how it like affected each mammal differently.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any
Actually,
questions?
I had a quick question. I don't know if you'll know. Do they like develop like a tolerance to it? Like, if you are giving your cat catnip like every day, are you going to have to steadily increase the amount of catnip that you're giving them in order for them to have an effect?
I tried looking into that just because with this one, they use it like every single day for X amount of time. And they said it's like not addictive or anything. So I think it really just depends on the cat because since they all have the same effect to it, I want to say you honestly can really use it like 5 times a week and they'd be okay with it and not build up a tolerance. But I'm not 100% sure with that. Just because I couldn't really find any research on if they become tolerant to it or not. I want to say no because, like, I know, like, if someone was to smoke cannabis every day in order to get that high feeling, if one was to say, they would have to keep increasing the amount. But like I said, like the human brain and the cat brain are completely different, and what we smell is completely different and structured differently. So I think for a cat, it'd be okay to use it often and them not become like have a tolerance with it, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, because I have a very, very fat cat, so I'm also wondering if it would like depend on like weight as well. Yeah, I don't know.
I
Some
have
thoughts?
a friend who I tested her. She had 3 cats here in Macomb, and they're pretty obese. And we just gave them a little bit just because I was curious. And all of them had the same effect, where one was like a smaller cat, and the other 2 were very large. And it seemed like that one little, like I think we gave them like a tablespoon of catnip. It affected them all the same, even though like the weight was different.
Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, hi Jacqueline. So I wanted to know if this catnip is it selective on particular breeds of cats, or we can use it for all kinds of species or breeds of cats.
Yeah, this is all types of species. That's that I also liked this research because not only did it have the male, the female, and the age, but they had a wide species of cats. And with all felines, like I said, even with tigers and lions, like all of felines had the same exact effect with catnip.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Well, then I think I'm done here, Dr. Richard.
Who's next? Thank you. Good job.
I'm next.
Okay.